Management is difficult, especially when you first start. Up until your first day as a manager, your success was due to your attitude, your aptitude, and ability to get your work done. Unfortunately, the skills that got you promoted or allowed you to open your own business are not the same skills you're going to need as a leader. Now your success depends on the success of your teams. You are depending on others to be successful. Now, this requires a complete shift in mindset. As an employee, your success is task oriented. As long as you are doing the thing, then you are golden. As a manager, tasks are still important and the thing still needs to get done. However, your success is tied to how well others do the thing. And it can be very stressful. Most managers do well when they only have a few people, but eventually you're going to get more people. This is where most managers begin to struggle. Why? Well, there are only so many people and tasks one person can keep track of. Your staff gets frustrated because they need your input to move on, and you're busy with others on another project. Your staff starts getting upset, you get upset, then your clients start getting upset, and eventually everyone's upset. Does that sound familiar? It can be extremely overwhelming. And at some point, someone will tell you you need to delegate more decisions to your staff. Well, how about we look at this another way? What if, rather than looking at handing off duties as delegating, you look at it as training the next generation of managers? What if someone did this with you before you moved into your current role? You ready to work on your growth edge? Let's climb. Every interaction, assignment, email, and conversation are opportunities to develop and grow your teams. Whenever I have a new manager or supervisor join my team, the first items I discuss with my managers are operational expectations and the rule sets. The goal is to create a safe environment and create a decision tree or matrix the manager can use to answer this question. What would Ryan do in this situation? It goes a little like this. Number one, you have my complete faith and trust. You lie or stop trying to improve, you'll lose that. You're developing trust by being the first to extend it. Chances are good they'll do the same. Number two, I expect you to make decisions throughout the day. Failing to act is one of the largest drains on efficiency and productivity in the workplace. Making decisions is a skill like any other. The more practice you get in a safe environment, the more prepared this future leader will be to make decisions when you aren't around. Remember, people think making a mistake will get them in trouble or possibly cost them their job. It's your responsibility to make sure they understand that won't happen. Number three, I will ask you to explain your decisions most of the time. This way I can defend your decisions with other stakeholders, but mostly so we can analyze your decision-making process for possible improvements. Now, no one likes to have their decisions questioned. No one. That's why I make sure they know I'm defending their decisions with other stakeholders, but I need to know how their decision matches up with the organization's expectations. It's one of the best ways to develop critical thinking skills in your managers. Number four, there are very few things your team can screw up we won't be able to unscrew. So don't let fear of failure stop you from trying. Now, if you were looking for the magic elixir to get people to understand you mean what you're saying, this is it. I've never had a manager that didn't smile or start to nod with understanding at this point. Number five, when I assign projects, I'll let you know what an end result needs to look like. This is another component of critical thinking skills and team development. This is also where my teams have found the greatest success. You're handing over control of the project, not the responsibility, just control. You've told them where to go, and now it's up to them to find the path. You'll need to keep an eye on them and more than likely have to help quite a bit during the first few attempts, but eventually they'll start performing at a very high level. Number six, if you have a problem and your team cannot figure it out, I expect to hear about it as soon as possible. The imperative words are cannot figure out. Don't let them delegate decisions back up towards you without being able to demonstrate they've done some of the heavy lifting. Most of the time, your managers can figure out the issue when they start talking about it with you. Do not tell them what to do. Instead, use your experience to craft questions to help them come up with the conclusions on their own. Number seven, I expect you and your team to poke around the edges of every process to identify inefficiencies. Make changes where you can, evaluate the results, and then send me a note. You're admitting there's a better way and giving them the freedom to find out. You'll find the teams responsible for a process, they know best where changes can and should be made. Number 8, if your team is having issues with another team or office, you need to let me know. Now, as a leader, your job is to make sure your teams have all the resources they need to be successful. Now, if the sales team is having trouble with an operations process, neither of those teams are in a position to change the process. That's up to you. Remember, frustrated employees are a sign you have a problem with one of your processes. You need to go talk with the other leader and figure it out. It's the leader's job to make sure these issues are resolved. Number 9, apply as many of these expectations to your team as you can. You'll know their development levels better than anyone. Use your best judgment. Over the course of the next few weeks, the manager will make some correct and not so correct decisions, but they will learn a lot. The same goes for their teams. I understand not every organization can allow this level of freedom for all of its managers. However, you should fight for it when the opportunities arise. Remember, we're here to develop and grow our teams. If you or any of your managers are overwhelmed, take a look at these recommendations and give them a try. It's a great way for you and your team to work on your growth edge. We'll see you next climb.